After architecture visualizations, it's 3D product rendering, which demands for good 3D artists. And given that that is what I do the most, I decided to make a tutorial series on that where we will be making a super realistic Chanel perfume bottle, and we'll learn all the principles of product rendering, and in the end we will learn how to light and render the product that we made. So welcome to part 1 of the Chanel perfume bottle mockup product mockup series. So the first thing that you need to do when you're doing any kind of 3D modeling is first you need to get your references and blueprints and every single thing in one single place. And I like to use a free software called PureRef for this purpose. PureRef acts like a digital pinboard of sorts, and you can put all your collection of images into one place, and you can zoom in. It does not compress the images. There's no loss in quality, and you can arrange them in any way you like. It's a really good software that everybody should use. And it's a free software. I've left the link to download it in the description below. And I have also provided links to a drive folder where you can download all of these reference photos which I have used. Okay, and coming about blueprints, we don't really have any blueprints for this, and I don't have the bottle. I've never seen a Chanel bottle, to be honest. So we're going to be working out of one image, which is the front view, which is this one. It's from the Chanel website, and that's what we're going to be using. You should find that in along with the reference images. So I'm going to delete all of these in Blender. I'm going to go into front view, and I'm going to add in my reference image. I think I have it over here, and it should be called ref front, and bring that in. You should have this. Now let's set up our blueprints. You can bring that back, and I don't like it, I don't like my reference images, being like a hindrance in the perspective view, because I'm not going to be using it in the perspective view, and I only need it for the front view. So I'm going to disable it in perspective, so that now I can see it only in orthographic mode. If I come to perspective, I won't be able to see that. And I'm gonna keep some transparency to that, so it's not so bright. And I'm gonna disable selectivity for it, so that I don't move it by accident. Now if you don't have these buttons, you should be able to enable them over here. Okay, with that done, let's start modeling. I'm gonna add in the shape which resembles the bottle the most, which is the cube. And now I'm going to enable X-ray mode by going and pressing Alt Z, and I'm going to select these vertices and just kind of place them the wall. This is the easy part. This is the easiest part actually. You have this light kind of a bevel tapering in there, so I'm going to place the vertices exactly where it starts. I'm going to extrude it once, bring it up, and scale it in to create that bevel. Alright, the next thing we have a similar bevel at the bottom, so I'm gonna extrude it once and bring it down here. Well, actually, no, I think that's a roundness. Alright, we can bring that like that. Cool. Now we have the front look of the bottle, but the bottle is too thick. And actually these bottles are very huge, man. I mean, if you go to Chanel's website and you can see a picture of Nicole Kidman next to this bottle, oh my god, these bottles are huge. So I'm going to scale this along the y-axis. I'm just going to eyeball it based on our reference images. This one's pretty thin, but you can see that this one is actually pretty thick. Yeah, and this one too, it's pretty thick. We're not making the pink one, we're making the gold one. So it's actually pretty thick. And well, if you have a good side view picture, you can actually place it like that, but I couldn't really find a good side view picture, so I'm just gonna eyeball it, to make it about, I don't know, this thick. Looks good enough to me. Okay, next we're gonna be giving it the smoothness, it's too sharp, so I'm gonna add in a subsurf for that. And you can go and add subsurf over here, or you can use the hotkey, the shortcut, which is control 3, and not the number pad 3, it's the 3 on the top number panel, that long thing. Okay, with that done, I'm gonna add a subsurf level of 3. And now we have to sharpen the edges, and the traditional way of sharpening the edges is to add proximity loops like this, and then one like this. And this works, it's not like this doesn't work, but this is just adding so much geometry. I don't like adding so much geometry. So we're going to be doing it non-destructively by using a bevel modifier. Let me show you how to do that. With the object selected, enter your properties menu by pressing N and make sure that your scale is set to 1. If your scale is not 1, select the object, hit Ctrl A and apply the scale. And now the scale should be 1. Now with the scale 1, let's add a bevel modifier. Oh yeah, what happens if the scale is not 1? Well, I can show you just like this. If you make a bevel, it's not going to be straight, it's going to be all weird. Let me show you like this. You can see that the bevel is acting in weird ways right now, and that's because the scale is not set to 1. When the scale is set to 1, you can see that the bevel behaves pretty decently. You can see the difference. Alright, now let's add a bevel modifier. Yeah, and these modifiers are no different actually. These modifiers are the same as destructive methods, only that the modifiers are non-destructive. So instead of actually doing a physical bevel over here, I'm going to be doing it with a modifier. And make sure that your bevel modifier is above the subsurf modifier, because if it's below the subsurf modifier, there's just no point of it actually sharpening stuff. It's already subdivided and there's nothing to be beveled. So when you take the bevel above the subsurf modifier, you can now see the difference. But right now, the bevel is kind of beveling all the edges, and we don't want that. We just want it to bevel like certain edges selectively. So that's why you have this limit method known as weight. I'm going to select that, and now nothing should happen because none of our edges have any bevel weight. So we're going to select the edges which need to be beveled, and I'm going to change the mean bevel weight in the properties menu. 0 is no bevel, but for some reason 1 also acts like there's no bevel. So you need to find a nice middle ground. I find 0.005 works the best. What happened? What happened? Alright, let me do that again. Alright, now we have a bevel. Cool. Yeah, now we have the bevel over here, 0.00392. For some reason it changes. Okay, we're gonna have to bevel this edge. And I'm not gonna bevel the sides because we're gonna add some loops to, change the geometry of the subsurf thing. Alright, now in order to change this, I'm gonna add one loop over here to control the roundness. Yeah, it's still round, but we still have to add some loops over here to control the roundness of this. I'm gonna add 3 loops like this, and now you can see that our perfume bottle actually looks like a perfume bottle instead of some round soccer ball. Cool. The next thing that we have to do is the this cap, this neck, not the cap. So the neck is actually round, right? But we don't, and all of our faces over here are square. So if we extrude it up, we're gonna get a square face. We won't be able to make it round. I mean, we can kind of like make it do like this, do like this, but this is a lot of hard work and it's not going to be perfect. So it's better to let the machine make the shape for us. And that's why you have this option called loop tools. In case you don't have loop tools, go into edit, preferences, and in the add-ons, search for loop tools, and you should have mesh loop tools. These are just an extra set of tools which help you to modify the shape of a loop. So with these faces selected, make sure you're selecting the 4 faces. This is the reason why I added only 2, 3 over here and 1 over there, because I need a nice square over here. And with that selected, if you're using right click for your options, right click, but I'm not doing that. I use right click select. So enter the the menu, options menu, and you should have a loop tools option over there. Select circle, and now you can see that blender automatically makes a circle. Yeah, but now this is not what we want to do. We actually first we want to select all these faces. Let's bring it down just a little and scale it up. Up. Cool. And let's extrude it once more like that, because the loop, when you make the loop into a circle, it modifies the geometry in a weird way, and because of that you'll get some weird shading issues. So, and we don't want any shading issues over here. It's fine to have it over here because it's small and it'll be unnoticeable, but if you have it over here, it's not gonna look nice. So I'm gonna select this and make a circle. Actually, let me show you what I meant by that. Now if I make a circle out of this and extrude this up, and we'll be scaling it down. So if I scale it down, you can see that we'll be taking it up, right? You can see that, you know, there's some sharp shading over here which we don't want, and that's the reason why I extruded that. Sorry for taking your time with that. Scale it up and extrude it up a little, scale it down right about there. And now let's select these faces and let's make it a circle, and we're gonna have to make it small. And before you do this, make sure your scale is set to 1, because if you don't have the scale set to 1, your circle is not gonna look like a circle. It's gonna end up looking oval. Okay, now I'm gonna delete those faces. Oh, come on, delete those faces because it's a bottleneck. I'm gonna take that up like that to create that glass getting pulled effect, and scale it down to about there and extrude that up. You can leave it till here. It's just to, you know, create that bottle going in over there. Thank you. Windows security. I don't have any viruses in my laptop. That's the last thing that we all want, don't we? And yeah, okay, we're just gonna have to select these neck vertices. Oh my god, I didn't select them. Okay, this is awkward. And I'm gonna set a mean bevel weight of 0.005. I didn't bevel them. Oh, don't type it in the vertices data, type it in the edges data. Alright, cool. Now yeah, the bevel is, I mean, you just set the bevel weight, but you're not able to control the amount of bevel. Well, that's why you have these. So if you increase the segments over here, the edges become sharper and sharper, but you can change the offset amount to control the amount of bevel you get there. For this model, I'm going to use a bevel of 2, which looks perfect. Cool. The next thing that we have to do is the bottom of the bottle, and this is like a signature trademark when it comes to Chanel perfume bottles, because the first time that I did it, I actually didn't pay attention to this, but it's actually a trademark when it comes to Chanel bottles, and let's create those. Just had my dinner, sorry, lunch. Okay, now first we are going to make an inset out of these like that, and once the inset is done, we're gonna grab that up. No, we're gonna extrude it up like this till about there. Cool. Let's select these edges and scale these down the x-axis like that. Select these bring them down, select these, and bring them down. There you go. Now if you enable sub, you can see that we now have that signature Chanel base, the bottom. I wish I had done that the first time before posting it on Instagram or ArtStation. Okay, that's the bottle. We finished the bottle and we are still having time. We still have a lot of time. Let's finish the neck. Let's finish the neck. Now the neck is, it's kind of like, this is kind of like a seal on the glass neck, and then it kind of goes up like this and it comes till here where it stops, and then the nozzle takes over. If you watch this, you can understand that there's actually not any bumps on this neck, but then again, I don't understand how many different types of bottles are there. I don't know, because this is different. This, I think this is an older one. Yeah, that is an older one. And then there's this one which we're doing, which seems a little bumpy. But then if this is the older one, then how is this one looking pretty good? I just don't understand. So I took a look at some 3D models that other people made, and oh my god. Problem is that nobody even bothered to make the nozzle. Nobody made the nozzle, man. Everybody just made the empty hull, and it just looks bad. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna add in a cylinder, scale it down, bring it up, scale it down to be the size of that neck, and then we're gonna place it manually over here. Like that. All right. Okay, then the next thing there is a visible small like a tapering over here. You can see that even in this one, and I'm pretty sure that this is the place where the cap kind of holds on to that neck. So we are gonna have to make a small extrusion over there. Cool. And the next thing we have is this kind of like goes in like that, and I might be wrong, I don't know, but if you guys have a Chanel bottle, you might be able to do it correctly, but I'm just gonna do it this way. Anyways, this part is not even gonna be seen because of this translucent plastic thing, so who cares, right? Unless you're planning on showing the bottle without the cap on, you don't have to worry about that, but we're not going to be showing that here. So just gonna come to here, scale it down, and then there's one last bump over here. There you go. Awesome. Cool. And now we just have to select these and kind of extrude them. Press E once, right click to cancel the movement. Now you have extruded those faces, but you need to kind of scale them down. So I'm gonna scale them, hold Shift Z to scale it in every axis except the Z axis. I'm gonna bring that in like that. Cool. I'm gonna add in a loop over here to create that kind of like a circular effect. I'm gonna scale this down a bit, and then I'm gonna scale this down too, and that looks pretty. I mean it's not perfect, it's not actual life like, but given that it's not gonna be seen, we don't have to worry. Shade it smooth, and under the normals tab in the object data properties, enable auto smooth, and you can delete these faces because we don't need them. Now instead of adding a solidify modifier and adding all that unnecessary geometry, I'm just going to select these two faces and get out of this. And I'm going to extrude them again and then scale them in extrude. Right click, Shift Z and scale. Like that. To kind of create that holding on to the neck effect. Like that. Cool. That looks good. That looks good. The next thing we have to do is we're at 19 minutes. All right. Let's finish the nozzle and the tube, and we can, yeah, let's finish the nozzle. Cylinder, bring it up. Come on, you know what to do. I don't have to tell you how to do this. You follow this tutorial till now. You know what to do. Let's add in a the reason I added that was so that we get the we know how much to kind of scale this in. Just leave a little gap over here so that that's the gap through which the nozzle gets pressed. With that done, we can add a subsurf for this one, and the same way set the scale to 1, and let's add in our bevel modifier. Ta-da! Ta-da! I'm gonna add the same 4 segments with an offset amount of 2, and I'm gonna change the limit method to weight. And I'm gonna select all the sharp edges, and like that. And I'm gonna set a mean bevel weight of 0.005, and I should have a nice looking neck. All right, we are touching upon 21 minutes. That's part 1 for now. Meet me in the next part where we will finish the nozzle and the inside, the tube which goes inside, and the cap and everything.